Welcome back, friend of the program, Dianne Waldron from Meals on Wheels. Great to see you, Lady Di.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
You brought a friend?
I did. This is Drenna Reineck, and she's a friend.
Good morning.
She's a volunteer to Meals on Wheels. She delivers meals several times a month, a couple of times a month. She also works in our kitchen. Whatever she's needed to do, she works in our office, helps us with admin, just a variety of things. And she, like 247 other volunteers, make our program run.
Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this interview, you sent along some goodies this morning.
I did. We have a baker. Her name is Jamie, and she bakes cookies and brownies and bran bread, and yes. And so we always like to bring you a little treat.
Well, it's not unappreciated.
And we love being invited here. We just really appreciate it so that folks know what's going on in the community.
Well, we love featuring what you do because what you do is great stuff. My father-in-law was a Meals on Wheels driver into his 80s and
Awesome.
enjoyed every second of it. Drenna, tell me your volunteer story here.
Oh gosh, there are so many, but I told Diane on the way over here, we might feed their person, but Meals on Wheels feeds our soul. Oh my goodness. Recently I went to deliver a meal and no one answered the door, so I knocked again and she invited me in, and the lady was on the floor. She had fallen and she was waiting for us. So they depend on us on so many levels. So it's an awesome place to work.
When did you begin your volunteer journey?
Oh gosh, I've been doing this about 4 or 5 years now.
And how did you select Meals on Wheels as your place to volunteer?
Oh, golly. Actually, a friend mentioned it to me, and I went down with her one day, and I never left. Literally walked in the door, and I haven't left.
So how does it work? You go in and you're given a stack of meals and addresses to which to deliver them?
Gosh, that's the other piece. There's so many pieces, moving parts to this. You basically get your meals when you're a driver, and they're set up so that literally you hand one off and then the next one is sitting right beside it, so it's organized. You don't even have to think very hard, and then you deliver those meals one by one to the different families.
And
Go ahead.
Go-
Go ahead.
no, is it the same family? Like for you as a volunteer, are you seeing the same families over and over again?
Typically, you have a route that you're assigned.
Okay.
I have Route 3, so that's the other side of it. They personally know you, so when you arrive, it's like, well, hello, I've been waiting for you. You're 5 minutes late today. That's happened
They will
before.
tell you that.
And I'll say, well, they were a little bit late on the meals coming out today, or there's traffic on the road. So they absolutely know who you are, and they sit there and wait for you. I was telling Diane, you'll walk up, and they're already at the door. They've seen your car pull in, so it's awesome.
Yeah, and the meals are prepared fresh daily in our kitchen at King's Daughters Court. So it's a hot meal, and then there's a cold portion of the meal. But the hot meal, when you deliver it, is still pretty hot.
Sometimes they burn your fingers, and
Yeah.
literally I'll tell the people sometimes, be careful, this one's a really hot one. So yes, it is truly hot off the presses.
So they're getting a fresh meal every day. And on Fridays, some of our folks need the meals on the weekend, but we only deliver Monday through Friday. So on Friday, they'll get the hot meal plus 2 cold meals that they could warm up over the weekend.
And who qualifies to receive these?
If you live in Berkeley County, West Virginia, and you're homebound, which means you don't drive, you don't have access to, you're not physically able to prepare food safely, you're disabled, then you qualify. It's pretty simple.
And can it be short term? Somebody's had.
Absolutely. That happens a lot. It could happen to any one of us. You know, you're in the hospital and you're transitioning home, and just for 2 or 3 weeks, you just need a little bit of help. We have many people like that. Some people are on for months, some for years. So it varies.
Are most of these folks living alone, or do you deliver sometimes to couples?
70% of the folks live alone. Okay? And they do rely on that meal. They rely on that human contact from volunteers like Drenna. Then there are some couples, because, for instance, let's say the wife has dementia and the husband doesn't drive and he's her caretaker and he can't cook safely for himself. So we do have some couples, yes. We do.
Rob, we think of Meals on Wheels as a driver, as Drenna's pointed out, as to make contact. There's another element. Dianne was nice enough to give some statistics. And looking at the volunteer kitchen helpers, if I did my numbers right, during a given year, these kitchen helpers donate approximately 20 weeks of time to work in the kitchen. That is an impressive number of support. Now you have the same thing, not the high number. You have more drivers, but we tend to think again, focus on the drivers. But there's another element, another core of folks that make all this happen.
The behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, exactly.
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. And you know, they're on their feet the whole time. I mean, they get in there at 6:30 in the morning. And they're committed, and many of them are seniors. Many of them are, and they're standing the whole time. They're moving. They're cupping food. They're doing dishes. You can imagine. So, and Drenna's done that before too.
Just a word about that. This is our encore career. We retired once, and then
yeah.
we look for a new job. And the good news too is I get raises regularly.
And I always tell her 0 + 0 = 0.
It's like a radio career.
But
Put the zeros out there.
But again, we tend not to really identify with the numbers. But when people donate 20 weeks a year of their time for Meals on Wheels, that's an amazing contribution.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk in that kitchen, it is the most seamless operation that I've ever witnessed. Literally, you look around and it's kind of quiet, people talking, but everybody has a purpose and they're doing what they need to do. And every day at 10:15, those meals walk right out that door.
So in the kitchen, is there I'm making this up, obviously, a meat chef and then a rice chef and a bread chef? I mean, is it, or is everybody kind of doing everything?
We have a head cook. Her name is Tammy Young. She's amazing. She's been there 13 years, so she's the head cook and kitchen supervisor. Then we have the baker, Jamie, who made the cookies. Her whole job is baking. Okay, now she does help.
That's a dream job right there.
But Jamie jumps
It'll all be
in.
cannoli, though.
That's a fact.
I say that, but then again, you can see her doing dishes too, you know. So, and then we have Winnie, who is the kitchen assistant, and she does the salad portion, the cold portion of the meal. So she's making fresh. She's slicing tomatoes, which we get locally. We got a delivery today of local tomatoes from West Virginia, from Kitchen's Orchard. We also got cantaloupes today and blueberries, and next week we'll be getting strawberries from Orr's. So I just want to jump in and say we try to get local produce from our local farmers here in West Virginia.
How about the protein? Where does that come from?
Well, that's initiated in the menu. So like today it might be chicken, tomorrow it'll be hamburger, the next day meatloaf. That's the protein portion. 50% is carbs, 40% protein, 30% protein, and 20%
Cookies.
Yeah, 20% cookies. The greens, you know, the vegetables. So
there's that too, yes.
yeah. So we have a board-certified dietitian that reviews our menu, and she approves. We have a 6-week cycle menu, and she approves that annually so that we know we're serving the right food.
Elderly frequently have issues, as do many of us who are not elderly, although I'm knocking on the door, I guess. Salt, cholesterol, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Do all of these menus pass those tests?
They do. They're low sodium. There is sodium in some foods naturally, but the sodium is very low. And as far as diabetic, we don't serve a specialty diabetic meal. However, that's up to the client to monitor their sugar intake.
And gluten-free. And
We don't specialize that. We serve 1,000 meals a week, and we're a nonprofit, so to do a gluten-free is economically not feasible.
And where does your funding come from?
We apply for grants, and we ask for individual donation, business donations, and then a portion of the funding comes from the nominal fee we charge for the meals. However, that does not cover the cost of the meals.
Sure.
So the cost of the meals is between $2 and $4, depending on their income and their expenses. But their meals are costing us closer to $7 for a meal. So as you can see, 1,000 meals going out the door a week. We're behind the 8 ball on every meal.
I know you get a lot of local funding, United Way and the like. Do you get federal funding?
The only federal funding we receive is to the city of Martinsburg. And that's right now on hold. Not sure where that's going to land.
And what percent of your budget would that be?
A very nominal amount.
Okay.
It's
So-
about 1% because we've
1%.
talked about that.
Yeah.
And that makes again, when people think about where their tax dollars are going, basically we're self-funded. And we have lots of folks that will call in, and oftentimes our clients will send extra with their invoice at the end of the month. And again, when you think about extra dollars that you might have, this is a wonderful place to put your money because it makes a difference. I mean, when somebody calls up and says, my driver's not here, sometimes they're afraid they've been missed. And the lady called up the other day and she said, I'm just so hungry. And for many of us, that's hard to imagine. That I'm hungry, as in I need a meal. And if you can't drive and you can't get out, or you don't have a lot of funding,
So what do
You
you
go
do?
hungry.
How do you handle the weekends? I know you do, but explain the weekends.
Sure. So about 30 people get a weekend meal. So on Friday, they'll get their Friday hot meal, and then they'll get 2 additional cold meals to heat up for the weekend, plus the cold portion of the bag. So on Fridays, they're getting really 3 meals, the hot one and 2 cold ones, so that they have a weekend meal. Like Drenna was saying, you'd be surprised how many people call us and they just have no food. They don't have a pantry like we do. We just are blessed. So if we can't help them, if they don't qualify for our organization, we have a variety of resources we can give them. Thankfully, the United Way of the Eastern Panhandle has a 211 hotline. Have you heard of that?
No.
You call 211, and if you needed housing, if you needed clothes, if you needed help on your electric bill, if you needed food, you call this 211 hotline, and they will offer you the resources in the county.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know.
It's through the United Way of the Eastern Panhandle.
And I know you wanted to talk about volunteerism.
Well,
you came-
I just want to state, and Mr. Stupplefoot pointed out statistics are not always, these are people that we're dealing with. So in 2024, we had 242 volunteers make it happen for us. We served 60,000 meals that year. Without them, we would not have a program. There's only 4 of us that are part-time employed, paid employees. The drivers last year drove 86,172 miles. Now that's 31 times across the United States from the East Coast to the West Coast.
And that's all within Berkeley County.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But keep in mind, Berkeley County is 322 square miles, so Drenna drives Route 3, which is sort of within the city limits. But we have 7 routes. We break up the county into 7 regions, right? We have 12 board members, and they volunteered 440 hours. The packers, now we have packers that come in at 6:30 in the morning and stay till about 9:30, and they pack the cold portion of the meal, which is the fruit for the day or the dessert for the day. And if it's a salad, it could be a pasta salad, it could be a tossed salad, it could be whatever it is that day. That's the cold portion of the meal. Also, folks like garden clubs and organizations like Faith Christian Academy, they'll make cards or they'll make little ornaments throughout the year, and they go in the little cold bag. So, and you'd be surprised. They've called, right, Drenna?
same thing, they'll call up and say, they'll say, who delivered that, or who got us that? I'm like, I can tell you the organization, but not the individual, because they want to write a personal thank you note
That's
to
nice.
whomever wrote it.
Do you have room for volunteers who just have like a couple of days a month that they have to give?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes. That's one reason I'm here today. There is a need, an ongoing need for volunteers, okay? If you don't want to drive, that's fine. But if you want to drive, it's a commitment of once a month for 3 hours. Most people can do that if you can manage that between about 10 in the morning to about 12:30 in the afternoon, once a month for 3 hours.
How much flexibility can you accommodate?
A lot.
A lot. So,
A lot.
So if someone can drive 3 hours, a certain 3 hours 1 month, they could drive a separate 3 hours a second month.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. We have a set schedule, and we with 242 volunteers, we have to be Gumby. We have to be flexible. People have lives; they need to substitute. Okay. If you don't want to drive, but you want to come work in the kitchen, that's more earlier in the morning, like 7 a.m. to 9. Okay, and that would be standing on your feet working. That's another once a month commitment. You can do more than that if you want. And then the kitchen helper's the same. So, and then if you say, I don't want to do any of that, how else can I help? There are so many ways. There's an ongoing need for bottled water, for example. We'd like to give cold bottles of water to our volunteers, especially in the summer months when it's warmer. So, if you want to, you have to have a Boy Scout club that wants to donate cases of water, right?
And you can check our website because we have an ongoing wish list. That's the other piece of this. So, again, the other piece of word about volunteering is that for many of us, we're already retired from at least one career, if not more. But if you want, for example, if you're thinking about I travel occasionally, that's fine. My husband and I often will do substitute work. So I'll get a call that says, can you cover for so-and-so? So you never have to feel like, well, I have to do this every month. If you are fortunate enough to be able to travel, or you're going someplace, or you're going to the doctor, it doesn't really matter. Just call us ahead of time, and we've got somebody in there to cover for you. And to be honest, on the rare occasion that somebody is sick or it's close to the time, we'll jump in the car if we're there. And it's like,
Drenna
not a
has
problem.
done that many times.
So we just thought we don't use the word hero here very much, but you must have some pretty heroic stories on when it snows or it's an ice storm or just miserable weather. Whether rain or sleet or gloom of night, right?
Well, yes. Now, when Berkeley County schools close due to inclement weather, our policy is we close, okay? Because most of our drivers are seniors themselves, and we do not want to send them out and have an unsafe situation. However, we provide snow kits prior to the winter months. And that snow kit is a non-perishable bag full of soup, crackers, pudding, applesauce, that type of thing. We send those out ahead of time. Last year, we provided over 800 of those snow kits. So on the days that it's icy and the schools are closed, we do close. However, we're open on all holidays, like 4th of July will be open. We were just open for Memorial Day. We don't close except for Christmas Day if it falls on a weekday, and Thanksgiving we close. New Year's Day we close.
You've
Yes,
thought
New
of
Year's.
everything.
Well,
I think that's so cool. The winter kit, it's just kind of very cool.
Just a word about those snow kits, too. They're free. So people will call up and we'll ask how many snow kits do you want. Usually we give them out 3 at a time. And again, there's no charge to that. So I think Meals on Wheels does a wonderful job just taking care of somebody that can't take care of themselves.
You mentioned the website earlier. What is the website to go to see if you can be a helper?
Berkeley County MealsOnWheels.com. It's that simple. And if you want to give us a call, if you're interested or have questions that I haven't answered, 304-263-6622. If you want to volunteer in a different capacity, maybe you can come up with a creative idea. The only fundraiser we do is the Unity campaign through the United Way of the Eastern Panhandle. That's our only fundraiser. This year it was very successful. Our community is very generous, as you well know.
Sure. Do you coordinate with other agencies locally who deal with seniors as well, like Berkeley Senior Services, Dianne?
We do. Berkeley Senior Services they deliver meals as well,
yes,
as you well know. Amy, you know Amy. However, they don't do the entire county like we do. They do a smaller geographic area because they employ their drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think they deliver every other day. I'm not sure. I can't state to that. But if people call us and like I said, we can't provide that service to them. Let's say they're not homebound, but they need food. We have many resources we can give them. Either email them, mail them, or over the phone, help them out.
I want to make sure you don't bury your lead here. I'm on your website here. 81% of your clients state that your services keep them from going hungry. 90% state that Meals on Wheels allows them to eat healthier foods. 75, or 3 out of 4, stated that Meals on Wheels made them feel safer in their own homes. I think that's a big deal. And 95% stated that our meal is the main meal of the day. That's a big deal. All of those are a big deal.
They're a very big deal, and those are coming directly from the mouths of the recipients that receive the meals.
I think last time you were on, you shared that survey, right?
I did. And I tell you what that is. It's peace of mind, one meal at a time.
And you know somebody's going to, if you're alone, I would think projecting out, and that's what I do, I write fiction, but somebody's alone, and the thought that somebody is going to come by, I only have to lie on this floor till the Meals on Wheels person comes by, and then I'll be saved. It does give hope.
Right?
It truly does. And the people that, the families that know
10
that
seconds, Di.
the families have peace of mind knowing that grandpa or grandma is going to be checked on, and then we
Every
have
day.
emergency contact information on every one of them, and we call the family.
Hang out. We'll be back with the final minute right after these.
I'm just a product